Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to PDINA Royally Teachable Moments. Otis says hello, and the very special way that he says hello. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Let's get into it. I want to talk about something that I saw on Dan Wooten's show, and it was interesting because he had these two women on. I'm sorry I don't have their names. It's something I just listened to, and I'm like, I got to talk about this briefly. So he was talking to these women, and Dan had asked them about, Paul Burrell wanting to meet with Harry and William. Well, how he actually met with them before Harry got married to Meghan. They met in secret. They had this meeting. And then it came to Paul's advice for offering to meet with William and Harry now, considering they're having these issues, there's these problems. And one of the women, she really gave Paul a hard time and was not very kind and nasty, and just like, I wouldn't say that he should reach out to anybody, like who should want to talk to him. And I know there are some things that have happened in the past, but you could just look at Paul, you can talk with him. This is a man that gave many years of service to the Queen and to Diana. He was Diana's rock. And this is a man that has a wealth of information that would be good for the boys. But just how she dissed Paul in that moment, I think you're putting your personal feelings into how you perhaps feel about this man, but really overlooking, I think, the overarching idea that this is a man that can offer some great insight into William and Harry about their mother. Because let's all face it, look, when we have our relationships with our friends, we are different with all the different relationships that we have. Like, I'm not going to be the same way with my children that I am with perhaps a good friend of mine. You have certain relationships with information that you divulge. And I think Paul is someone that was by Diana's side a lot. He was working for her when she passed away, and he has this insight, this really unique insight that I think Harry and William would benefit from, and how Harry could get some insight into how his mother really was when it came to working with the press, and to dispel this notion that Diana was always hounded by the press without ever relying on the press. Diana had this star quality, and she was able to maximize her relationship with the press because of her star quality, and she used the press as well to her advantage. She ain't stupid, and this relationship that Paul had with Diana could be really good to help the brothers, especially Harry, see the woman that his mother was and what she was like, because Paul and Diana had a very close relationship. He is the one that was there for Diana in tremendous ways that I'm sure her life was in good hands with Paul. And I just think being able to have that open mind where you could advise people, especially Harry and William, to meet with Paul now that we have these issues. But the issue really is, the ladies did mention this, William is not going to meet with Harry, not while he is married to Meghan. And that says a lot. Because William is just the most laid back. I mean, you could easily get along with someone like a William. Just his modesty, his humility in the role that he has. That really tells you a lot about the character of Meghan, to know that this is a man that has really cut off his brother because of the woman that his brother is married to. And you can only have this kind of attitude towards a woman when she is just bad news all day long. And William don't want nothing to do with that hot mess. He don't want nothing to do with it. And I can't blame him. And this brings me to the point about Harry and his whole court case. So he is going to be in court next week testifying. And there's some really interesting information about this whole court case. Harry is set to return to the UK next month for this very non-royal reason. And this is the reason. He's coming back to the UK in June next week for this court case against the press is going to actually get started. Now, this is one of the 7 known lawsuits that he and Meghan have filed against these different media companies in the UK and in the US within these recent times. So this is going to take place next week. Harry is actually going to take the stand. He's going to be a witness in this trial. This is unprecedented. A time when things have just really shifted into our modern day times. So what is this legal case about? Let me just break it down for you, okay? This case is against the publisher of the Daily Mail, the Mirror Group newspaper MGN, over allegations on a previously phone hacking situation that happened with the newspapers and how they would get information, hack people's phones, get access to their medical records, like really off the wall kind of tactics to get information. Harry actually launched this lawsuit back in 2019 and is actually now getting ready to go to trial. Now, this lawsuit is about articles that were published between 1996 and 2011. And this was the time when information was obtained in very unlawful ways, like what I just mentioned. This is when they were just off the chain trying to get information. When that happens to you, I can imagine Harry being very upset about that. There are other celebrities involved in this as well that were hacked and are a part of this lawsuit. And I would be upset too. This is a situation where I don't blame Harry. Okay, I don't blame him one bit, because at some point let's just admit this man has made some poor choices, but at the same time, this is for him something that I think needs to happen, because having your information taken from you in these ways is a little bit off the wall, just crazy. We don't do these kinds of things. We just don't do this. I'm really curious to see how it turns out in terms of what these newspapers, media, news gathering organizations are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, because people just going cray-cray. Just going crazy to get your things. And if you're a celebrity and people want your information, there has to be a boundary. There just has to be. And the other thing is this. So Harry is going to be in the United Kingdom next week, and Charles is going to be on a hike in Romania with his friends in Transylvania. He's like, I don't want to be here. I ain't going to be here. I don't want nothing to do with that crazy son of mine. And I don't blame him. Who blames the king? I know I don't. It's like, go ahead, go. When he coming in town, make your reservations to get out the country. As soon as you know he gonna be in the country, it's time to go. Everybody, let's pack up and leave. Harry's going to be in the United Kingdom. We got to all be going now off doing something outside the UK because, we got to have our reasons. We don't want to be here. We don't want to have nothing to do with this crazy son of ours or crazy uncle, brother, your nephew, whatever. Like, just skip town and be done. I believe Harry is missing his life in the United Kingdom. How could he not miss it? Just think back to when you had 24-hour, round-the-clock royal protection. Your brother spoke to you. You could play with your nephews, your niece, no problems. But as soon as he married this woman, it just went all downhill from there. It's alleged that Harry met with a divorce lawyer. Because, Harry's like at this point now, he's like, shoot, man, my life sure has changed since I married that woman. I ain't got nothing. I don't even have my own country. And I fought for this country. And I'm not even living in the country that I fought for. And now you're in a country where you could be deported. You get dumped by your wife and then you get your butt deported back to the United Kingdom. Now that would be messed up. Dumped and deported. You know your life is bad then, because your wife don't want you, the country you came to don't want you, your family leave the country when you come in town. I mean, everything is wrong, man. Like, you have to be really reevaluating your life choices. Like, man, did I really make the right choice? Did I really do the right thing? I mean, it all comes and circles back to one person. In my opinion, is one reason why you having all these issues. Lady C is actually claiming that Harry called in divorce lawyers months ago amid problems in his marriage, supposedly with Meghan. You know, there are some things that were happening. I saw an article that said that their marriage is just doing just fine, just fine. We happy. Ain't no problems here. Like the PR, the spin, because they don't want people to think that they're on to them. We got life experiences. We know how this works. Okay, you can't tell us that there aren't some times where you thinking, man, why did I marry you? I hate you. I don't like you. So it's good. Maybe you could be the one this time doing the dumping, because we know she's the one that does a lot of the dumping. She's the one that has all the dead bodies in the street. And perhaps maybe you could learn something from your wife and be the one, get ahead of the game, get the lawyers so that you can, for once, be a little bit more knowledgeable and more proactive in your pursuit to finding some happiness in your life, like to get your happiness back. That just might be something you might have to do. I think it just goes to show you that things just are all over the place. I mean, you cannot be in a good position with your life personally when you've got these lawsuits, your family leaving town when you come in town. There's allegations that your wife is not happy. She's getting bored with you. You've lost face in the eyes of the public around this whole New York City car chase. Your children could now just be forever given to your wife because of all the things that you said. You no longer have your royal protection. You don't have the class status that you had when you were in the UK. Everything seems to just be spiraling out of control. So no matter what anyone says about, we happy, I love him and he loved me still. I don't care what it is. You cannot look at all these different things and say, we happy. Because I have to look at you and say, you know what? That's hard to believe.